is Susy with more wild stories of her interesting life all over the world. This time we're going to talk about Papua New Guinea, a huge island to the north of Australia. I was there in the capacity as an art teacher. An art school was set up by a Scot called Tom Craig, and upon independence he decided the New Guineans should have their own style of graphic design and textile production rather than ape Westerners, because they have such a rich cultural tradition anyway. So that was the aim of the art school, and I think fairly successful. Papua New Guinea has 800 languages, very, very diverse people, with its long coastline. Shells in abundance were traditionally used for thousands of years as trading currency, and are still play a huge important part in rituals, gatherings and self-decoration. This, one of my favorite pieces, is an ancient one of these trocus shells. Must have been a much bigger one than my one, which long ago was sawn and made into an arm bracelet through which you'd tuck flowers and foliage when you go to the dance or the ceremony. This is a septum plug from the Solomon Isles. The Solomon Isles are slightly off the main island, as are hundreds of other islands. In the center of Papua New Guinea are extraordinary wild mountains. There is a backbone of a road which goes through it, but many parts of the island are uncharted. And in fact, flying over once, the pilot pointed to me and said, "Look, on the map, it was just a big empty space, as yet uncharted." Yes, I had many adventures. One of the most exhausting ones was a trip from Port Moresby, the capital, where the art school was, with a potential donor who we hoped would promote Papua New Guinea handcrafts in the development process. And so the head of the art school, Stalin Jawa, and I, yes, Stalin Jawa, had to accompany the donor by flying up to the north of the country. Had a slight hiccup with the plane engine going on fire, but eventually we flew up to the north and then hired this huge, long, dugout log canoe. His clan pig, the driver's clan pig was at the prow of the canoe, and this is another ancient prow. I just love the fish clan that must have been from. So the trip consisted of a very wobbly boat up the enormous crocodile-infested Sepik River to one of the most famous villages, handcraft-producing villages called Tambanam, where the people live in massive communal houses. That's what we were aiming for, to get there before nightfall, in order we could get off the river and spend the night in this house, and then talk to the handcraft producers. We managed that without too much mishap, apart from 2 hours floating on the Sepik without spark plugs. And it was raining, and I lost the coconut baler overboard, so I had to utilize my hat as a baler for 2 hours. And when we finally got there with our very important donor, his camera lens looked like a goldfish bowl, half full of water and a lot of mud. Anyway, we then had a wild trip through the highland, the little bit of road that there is in the highlands, and at the side of the road I came across this magnificent sculpture and an old man who'd made him, and I can see his face now. "What is it?" I said to the old man. Now, this technique here is from special sort of liana, a vine, jungle vine, which traditionally they would use to make armlets and wrist adornments. But it's quite unique. I'd never seen, this is new, modern art, shall we say. And he's wrote this little note about, this is, and it's all in pidgin English, this is Korove. His name is Korove. Long time ago, we didn't have fire to cook our food. So Korove came and he taught us how to cook our food. And so I thought I'd make a picture of him. That's all, thank you very much. Well, I couldn't resist. It's one of my favorite objects.
Can we see the note?
Oh, the note, yes, let me show you. It's in his writing. It might have been his child's writing, because I would be surprised if he knew how to write. He was about 80 when he gave it to me.
And this is pidgin.
And if you'd like, I can recite it.
Yes, please.
Long time before, this pala something, I need my glasses, excuse me. Story belong this pala something. Now, me wakim. Before, me pala got fire, belong cooking kai kai. We don't have fire to cook our food. Tasso. This pala something, give him me pala olsem. Now, me pala is savi cooking kai kai. Well, he gave this idea of how to cook our food, and now we know how to cook our food. Name belong this pala something, me pala savi call him olsem Korove. Well, the name of this person, well, we know by calling him Korove. Before man, no got paya, no got Korove tasol. So we didn't have fire, we didn't have Korove to find fire for us. And also, nami walking pixa tasol. And so I thought I'd make a picture of him. That's all. Thank you very much. Just love it.
Fantastic.
30, 40 years I've carried that on.
Fantastic.
Yeah, wonderful.
What's this?
This was also found beside the road on that wonderful trip, and it's a very traditional way of adornment. Mm-hmm. So you would bind the parrot feathers like that. But upon leaving the National Art School, my lovely, lovely friend gave me this. And she couldn't get access, obviously, to parrot feathers in the town, and so she and her friends saved up every bubblegum paper they could for a year and made an equivalent. I mean, it does look from a distance as if it's made of feathers. And that was my parting gift from one of the dearest people I know.
Fantastic.
These are made from twisted fibre from the vine. Throughout New Guinea, you will find, well, mainly in the Melanesian area, you'll find what people think are grass skirts, but actually made from banana leaves. Unfortunately, I don't have any here with me, but this is made from twisted twine. And these wonderful bags, billums they're called, there's a huge range of these billums. These are made by hand, rolling the string on the thigh. I mean, it's endless work for the women. Whenever they're doing any walking, they'll be preparing the twine. And sometimes they're used for all sorts of things, babies, but just occasionally for their favorite pig, because pigs are extremely important in New Guinean culture.
Why?
Why? Their food, their status, they're used as trading. They're used in big ritual ceremonies where they'd cook the flesh in heated stone pits, like dig a pit, put fire on the stones, and then you wrap the pig meat and the vegetables in leaves and stew it.